Hi, it's Colleen from Keeping the Peace, and welcome back to another episode of Colleen Answers Your Questions. Today, our question comes from Stephen here on YouTube in the down bar of episode 62 of the same series, when I talked about, or someone asked me if I had ever had to use deadly force. He says, Colleen, was there an incident involving you or someone you know that caused you to become pro-gun? 50 years ago, when I was 20 years old, I was followed by a group of 3 to 4 men late at night on a dark sidewalk of a campus at the University of Alabama. I was running around in condition white going to sort of a convenience store. I had a folding pocket knife that did not lock open. I carried my knife then as a tool, not as a weapon. I managed to outwit them and get away. However, that changed my attitude on personal protection from then on. That knife would not have made any difference being outnumbered as I was. However, I feel a proper handgun would have been very comforting in that type situation. Yes, it would have, I agree. If you've been following me for a while, you may have seen videos way back in the beginning when I talked about a couple of scenarios that happened in my life way before I started carrying. Scenarios in which I would have been justified in using deadly force to protect myself. And during that time, I was terrified of guns in an irrational type way due to my reaction to some things that happened in my family when I was young. And I had such an aversion to guns that even had I had access to one, I probably would not have touched one, even to protect myself in those situations. I was so completely uneducated about them, plus fearful. And there wasn't really a certain incident, because if one was going to change my mind, it would have been one of those. One of those happened when I was in high school, another one happened during college, so I was very young. And I went all the way until I was 30, how old am I now? 43. So I was 32 before I started getting educated on guns. So all the credit for my becoming pro-gun has to go to my husband, because if I had not married him, I probably would have continued in fear. And because I did marry him, not knowing that he was a gun guy, when I moved into his house after we got married, I quickly learned that he was a gun guy and began seeing them and seeing him handle them, and it literally took my breath away with fear. And he took notice of it, and he handled it well by educating me. He signed me up for classes, he bought me a gun, and he gently but firmly pushed me toward carrying one every day. There was I wouldn't say a long period of time because it was less than a year, but there was a period of time after I got my CCW where I still was very, what's the right word? I was very stubborn about not wanting to have it on me all the time. And he would push me, because if I was going to be alone, especially at night, he wanted me to have it on me because he couldn't always be there to protect me. So it took a while. It took him nudging me assertively for a while before I finally kind of clued in and realized, you know, you can't predict when something's going to happen. And it's never going to happen when you expect it. And if it did, you could just leave. You wouldn't need a gun. If it was going to happen when you expected it, you would just avoid that situation. So if something's going to happen, it's going to be when you don't expect it. So really, it's just education and time and patient prodding from someone who loved me and didn't want me to live the rest of my life bound up in irrational fear and unprotected because of it. So I can't really attribute it to a certain scenario. It was really just my husband. So I hope I answered your question. A lot of you probably already knew a lot of this because you've kind of seen me mention it in videos in the past, but Stephen, I think has joined us fairly recently, maybe within the last year. So thank you for joining me for the series. Thank you for asking your questions, Stephen, and all the rest of you who participate in this series. I really enjoy everything you all ask. You keep me motivated to keep making videos. It makes it fun, and I learn a lot from you guys. So if you would like to share what caused you to become pro-gun, if you were like me and used to live in fear of them or were anti-gun for any reason, if you want to share in the comments down below what maybe changed your mind, please do that, because I love reading your all's comments and learning from you all. Plus, it's just fun to learn about each other. So please do that if you'd like. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. Thanks for watching. God bless. Bye.